Hello beautiful people, I'm Nikki Lee, and since starting my K-pop dance cover account a few years ago, I've had a lot of people tell me that they're just starting to learn dances and they wanted advice on where to even begin. So this is my top 5 tips for self-learning dance routines. Also, be sure to stay tuned in for tip 5 because that is what has undoubtedly helped me improve the most, and I'm super excited to share it with all of you guys. Let's get started. Tip number 1 is find your learning style. No matter what works for me, other dancers, or other coverists, the best way to learn is just whatever works for you. For example, some people like learning with counts, while others, myself included, prefer learning by associating motions to sounds in the song or particular beats. Another example is some people prefer to learn the arm motions and then the leg motions separately, then put it together, while others prefer to learn them simultaneously. If you're just starting to learn a K-pop dance or a different style of dance and you're having a difficult time, it may simply be because you're not learning in a way that's the most effective for you. I would suggest trying out a bunch of different styles of learning just to see how that impacts your dancing. And if you don't know how to count along with music, there are a bunch of videos on YouTube that can help you do that. Tip number 2 is pay attention to the small details. Now, this may seem obvious, but I swear that this is something that really helped me when I first started learning K-pop dances. Not only did it allow me to be more accurate and true to the dance that I was learning, but over time it also helped me learn all dances going forward. And I truly believe that once you learn a dance, learn the basic motions, it's the itty-bitty details that really make a difference. Some things to keep in mind are specific hand motions, facial expressions. Are their legs more bent or straight? Is their weight forward, backwards, more grounded or light? And which way is their head facing? And much, much more. But keeping things like this in mind will really help make your dance more nuanced and accurate. Tip number 3 is pay attention to the style of the dance. Now, I cannot stress how important and helpful this is, because if you match the style of the dance, it'll really be like the best of both worlds. On one hand, it'll make the finished product look more correct, but on the other hand, it can also really help you learn the dance in the first place. Girl group dances generally have a very different vibe than guy group dances. And just as it would look a bit odd if I were to learn a hip-hop dance with ballet technique and style, it can look pretty awkward if you mix different styles with K-pop as well. Even within girl groups, the style in which you would dance a Blackpink song would differ a lot from the style in which you would dance a Twice song or G-Friend. For example, Blackpink's song Kill This Love is very hard-hitting and it has a lot of fast and sharp motions. However, just another one of their songs, Forever Young, is a lot more groovy, a bit lighter, and the motions should be a lot smoother. It is often, but not always the case, that guy group dances are more grounded than girl group dances. Their center of gravity is lower. Their legs tend to be bent more, and oftentimes their posture is different, slightly hunched at times. A great example of this would be BTS's dance for Idol. When I first started learning this dance, I felt so awkward because I really didn't pay that much attention to the style and I was just trying to get the basic motions down. I was keeping my legs more straight and I basically equated the fast motions to me having to be light on my toes and my weight having to be pretty light. However, once I really started to analyze their dancing and their style, I noticed that their weight was so grounded. Their legs basically throughout the entire chorus are bent. And once I kept this in mind and I implemented that into my dancing, things became a lot easier for me and my dancing seemed a lot more natural. Of course, it's not just about how you're moving and if your weight is forward or lower or higher, but also about the energy that the song is giving off and how you dance that. For example, a lot of AOA's songs tend to have a very sexy feel to them, versus Twice's songs or GFriend songs are often a lot cuter, and you'll move differently according to that. Tip number 4 is give yourself a day to let the choreography sink in. Now, I used to have to give a lot of speeches and presentations, and this is actually a tip that I learned from memorizing talks. However, it's very applicable to dancing as well. Often, if I was having a difficult time memorizing a presentation or a speech, my mom would tell me to practice a few times before bed, then go to bed and sleep, and then wake up the next day and practice again. And by some miracle, when I woke up the next day, things often flowed a lot more freely and felt more natural. When it comes to dancing, I suppose I would attribute this to your body simply needing some time to commit the dance to muscle memory. And a lot of this has to do with simply being patient with yourself. I cannot count how many times I have thought, oh my gosh, I'm never going to feel happy with how I do this dance, I'm never going to be able to memorize it, it's never going to look natural, but I have to just take a breather, give myself some time, give my body some time and sleep, and then try it again the next day, and you would be amazed at what that can do. Now, this doesn't work all the time for me, and of course, if you learn a dance and then don't practice it again for a week, things are probably going to be a bit rough. However, this tip truly has helped me a lot, especially with dances that are outside of my comfort zone. Finally, tip number 5, the one that has undoubtedly helped me improve the most, is record your practices and put them side by side with the original. Now, I'm sure you've heard before that you should record your practices and watch them. However, what I really want to stress with this tip is the second half of it, which is watching the video side by side with the original. This is reflected on a lot of my comparison covers on Instagram. However, I also do this with my practices. This allows me to see what I'm doing right, what I can improve on and match better. It also helps me a lot with musicality and timing. In addition, it also ties in with tips 2 and 3, because when you watch your video side by side with the original, you really notice what small details you're missing, as well as how you can match the style of the dance better. Many people have asked me what applications I use in order to edit the side-by-side videos, and for the past 3 or 4 years, I've been using the app Pick, Play, Post to edit my comparison videos. However, there are a bunch of other apps that are available, which you could also use as well. Watching your video next to the original is really important, because if you just watch your practice video alone, you may not pick up on that small detail that you're doing wrong. Maybe you learned it wrong, or maybe it's off timing. Whatever it is, watching it side by side can really help you pick up on that. So those are my top 5 tips for self-learning dance routines. Number 1, find your own learning style. Number 2, pay attention to the small details. Number 3, pay attention to the style and feel of the dance. Number 4, give yourself a day to let the choreography sink in. And number 5, record your practice videos and put them side by side with the original. I hope you found these tips helpful and that you're able to put them to use next time you're learning a dance routine. It goes without saying that learning a dance takes a lot of time, effort, and patience, but I really hope that today I was able to at least help speed up the process a bit. I definitely have a lot more to share in the future, so if you liked this video, please like and subscribe. It lets me know that you want to see more, and click that beautiful bell icon to be the first to know when I post new content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!